The government will not countenance any act of vigilantism, insisting persons involved will not be shielded.
All of us need to be mindful about the activities of vigilantism, and I can assure you that not my party, not any group will we sit and allow to see the resurgence of vigilantism. I have spoken to the IGP family on all the the happenings of Ablekuma. The videos have been forwarded to him, who've instructed him to act swiftly, bring the perpetrators to book. We are not going to condone whether people within our party or outside our party into going around doing anything untoward. We can assure the public that we will ensure, under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, no such group will be allowed to form.
And it had that the Interior Minister Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak. Meanwhile, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, has raised alarm over the conduct of security personnel during the Ablekuma North Constituency parliamentary rerun on the 11th of July 2025, calling it a quote-unquote clear and present danger to Ghana's democracy. The warning follows violent disruptions at the St. Peter's Society Methodist Church polling center, where police allegedly stood by as unidentified men attacked voters and officials, including Howard Kumsin, a former MP for Awutu Senya East, and MPP Deputy National Organizer Chris Lloyd Asamoah. In a statement, CODEO condemned the police's failure to protect stakeholders despite heavy deployment. Unauthorized individuals suspected to be political vigilantes moved freely around polling centers, some in unlicensed vehicles, fostering an atmosphere of intimidation. CODEO noted that the situation was particularly troubling given the election's high stakes and urban setting, recalling similar concerns during the 2024 polls. The coalition urged President John Mahama and the Police Council to act under Article 2022 of the 1992 Constitution, stressing the need for immediate remedial steps before the Akwatia by-election. It also called on political parties, the Electoral Commission, security agencies, and the judiciary to address election violence and political vigilantism. Failure to act now could undermine Ghana's democracy and jeopardize future elections, CODEO warned in that statement earlier. In a related development, MP-elect for the Ablekuma North constituency, Irabna Obin, has apologized to persons who were assaulted during the constituency rerun elections. She spoke earlier today on Sunrise.
And regardless of who was attacked, I think electoral violence should be ruled out of our processes. I am sorry this had to happen to my fellow gender females. I mean, I'm not saying it would have been good if they were male, but I do apologize unreservedly for these mishaps.
And he had there the MP-elect for Ablekuma North constituency in the Greater Accra region. The Minister for Defence, Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, has directed security agencies to conduct a full investigation into fresh clashes reported in Boko on Sunday, the 13th of July. That was yesterday. The move, which aims to contain renewed tensions in the conflict-prone area, follows an alleged military brutality meted out to civilians by the military. The incident is said to have been a reprisal after a team of armed men attacked a military convoy that was escorting some travelers through the Boko township, injuring at least 2 personnel. The Defense Minister, in a statement, ordered a thorough investigation into the incident. The directive, announced in a statement posted on his official Facebook page, urged all parties involved to exercise restraint while investigations into the latest disturbances are carried out. Meanwhile, the majority leader and Boko Central MP Mahama Ayariga has issued a scathing condemnation of the incident. In a statement, Mahama Ayariga also described as unacceptable the conduct of military personnel in Boko, and we'll bring you more of those statements shortly. But let's speak to Dr. Vincent Azuma. He's the head of monitoring and evaluation at the West African Network for Peace Building, ONEP Ghana. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
How did you take the news of this latest military brutality in the Boko enclave?
Well, this news comes as another surprise. Surprise because I was thinking we could be doing things differently, but it looks like we continue committing same errors, and so we will not get different answers, but same attacks, and then military brutality on civilians. So that is why I say I'm surprised.
I'm just wondering why of course, I get your element in terms of explanation of surprise, but could this not be because we seem to have impunity in the system, as it were?
Well, the Boko conflict should be known by everybody now that it is very complex. So if we are sending the military to the ground, we need to send people who understand the conflict and who understand how to handle such complex conflict situations. We also need to have the military who can gather intelligence. So it is not just a military roaming the towns or the streets to keep calm. No, this must be a well-trained military team that understands the context of this conflict, that knows the importance of the cooperation of the youth and the people of Boko. And so work in collaboration with the people and not in a process where when they are attacked, they go and attack, brutalize citizens, some innocent, destroy property and all. So this should be different. That way of keeping peace in Boko must be changed. That's not what we think should happen in Boko now.
So in your view, you think that the soldiers who have been sent there perhaps are not trained enough to understand the intricacies of what we're facing in that part of the country?
They may be trained, but from what we are seeing, I can suggest that they don't have, if they have training at all, maybe it might not be up to the standard that is needed in the conflict in Boko. Boko's conflict is a lot more complex than just going to put arms on the ground and guns and walking around the town. No, it's more complex than just that.
The MP for Boko Central, Mahama Ayariga, who is currently the majority leader, seems to give in a different twist or interpretation to what's happening altogether. He is saying that, or urgent steps to investigate what he calls the infiltration into the ranks of the military by elements who seek to politicize and further destabilize the situation in Boko. What do you make of how he describes this current situation?
No, whoever has studied the Boko conflict clearly knows that the Boko conflict has been politicized. So that is no news anymore. But whether there are political elements that have infiltrated the military and therefore using the military to cause more trouble is what we cannot confirm. That is an allegation that needs to be investigated by the military themselves and by the government apparatus. But clearly, the Boko conflict has been largely politicized. That is why it is a lot more difficult to stop it. And that is why it is also important for the military or enemy security agency that is sent on the ground to have a wing of intelligence so that they can gather a lot more information than what they are doing now. In fact, from what we see and hear, it looks like the youth of the area even have more intelligence than the military on the ground, which is worrying.
And my last question to you, I was mentioning earlier that the defense minister as well has commented on this. He posted on his Facebook page about some 7 hours ago where he said, we are once again urging restraint and calm in Boko regarding the latest development as of yesterday. I have directed thorough investigations into the recent matter and promised to take swift action based on recommendations. Once again, let us ensure restraint. How do you see this statement calming a tempest down?
Well, these are the normal statements that, of course, will come from state apparatus when there's conflict. But one thing I also realize is that we have asked Otumfuo and eminent persons to arbitrate in this Boko thing. But the issue of or asking Otumfuo to arbitrate is not the end in itself. There's more to be done than just so. If you just Otumfuo to go and arbitrate, and then you put soldiers on the ground, and you think that everything is done, that is wrong. We need to be doing more than this. Otherwise, we'll continue to issue statements, and those statements don't do anything to the youth on the ground who are fighting. Even the military are emboldened enough to even attack military when they are escorting vehicles through Baku.
We need to be doing more. Thank you very much, Head of Monitoring and Evaluation at West African Network for Peace Building, Dr. Vincent Azuma. Thank you for speaking to us. We also do understand that vehicular movement at the Paga border in the Kasana-Nankana West District has come to a complete halt as angry drivers block the crossing in protest of the killing of a fellow driver along the Bolgatanga-Tamale Road. The protest has stranded vehicles traveling between Ghana and Burkina Faso, creating a major gridlock. The drivers are demanding swift action from government and security agencies to bring the killers to justice. Some 14 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you more as regards why the Chief Justice is asking for $10 million in compensation over what's happening to her. Stay with us.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Freezer, yeah, diaba. Adama for diaba. A freezer. Adama. Akwafo menhia Adama metimoso ma sorry kanino obobo mu ase a adwofrefre nu obi amienu miensa na se nan atene wotimi di akwase Adama fo adwena kwafo ho ahu se ye duro ba kope ebe chifu ye bia technology akofo freezer ba wenku a eno anto benya 15 latest ni wa hwiegum watia na wa hwiegum o de basia fu ye bia ni wa basia bio ekoti se obetimo no nemu ye sure say mention tasie nemu asena for na anu freezer umpa we na apade freezer
tasia ebe so do so ama amoni age
omutina me wasika omutina me di me nyina duru bia so me dum bi Adama with that Adama no kuya Adama you can't resist
Ubenya Adama West Africa for edwe bi we baby bia ye ton kraye ho edwu afi kayo na kenkan enchoya ewo edre ho.
Yes, so here on the Medani is on Rerun FM 92.7. Thank you very much for staying. A whopping $10 million. That's how much the Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokonu, is demanding be paid her by Ghana as compensation for moral and reputational damages. The suspended CJ, who is currently before the ECOWAS Court of Justice, argues, among many things, that her continuous suspension violates her right to a fair hearing guaranteed by the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. The hearing, which is happening this morning, follows an ongoing legal battle by Justice Tokonu after filing cases cases both at the Supreme Court and the High Court. But what are the reliefs being sought by the suspended CJ? Let's bring you in on that. Beatrice Adu versus the Republic of Ghana at the ECOWAS Court. The reliefs are as follows: declaration that her suspension violates human rights. Also, declaration that panel instituted to investigate allegations of misconduct was not constituted to guarantee its independence. An order directed at Republic of Ghana to lift the suspension and restore the Chief Justice to office. Also, an award of 10 million Ghana cedis dollars as compensation for moral and reputational damages suffered as a result of her suspension. And I'll bring you more now with President Mohammed's directive to hold metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives accountable for sanitation performance. Local leaders are stepping up efforts to address waste management challenges. In Asqua, the Municipal Assembly has launched an initiative to desilt choked gutters along major roads, a move aimed at preventing flooding and improving public health. The Assembly has also declared sanitation a top priority this year, with a resolution to tackle the issue head on. Ibrahim Abubakar is a man in the Ashanti region. He joins us live on the line. Ibrahim, just tell us what prompted this intensified focus on the silting gutters in Asqua.
Well, Beatrice, you move Asqua in the Ashanti region is one of the, I would say, well-to-do districts, yet sanitation remains a challenge in most of the communities, especially even within the affluent areas. So with the president tasking the municipal chief executives to ensure that they will improve sanitation, because that will be tied to their performance and that will determine whether their mandate will be extended or not. Not only Asqua, but I've realized that in the Ashanti region, some of the municipalities or DCs have taken that initiative. So for Asqua, especially very close to the stadium enclave, you find out that most of the gutters are heavily silted. So anytime it rains, all the waters will come onto the road and end up flooding those areas. So with this, the MC has taken that initiative, even engaging with the Ghana Prison Service to release some inmates for him to discharge this tax. So they are trying to desilt all those gutters to make sure that anytime it rains, there will be free flow of water and it will prevent the flooding. Aside that, they are also launching what they call Operation Clean Your Frontage. So every house, every business, they will tax you to make sure that some meters between your house or your working place, you make sure that you tidy those places up so that sanitation will improve in the area. They are saying this is geared towards the president's directives and they want to score more marks when it comes to sanitation within the country as a whole.
And I know you have a representative from the municipality talking. Can you tell us who that is, and then we can hear from the person directly?
Well, we spoke to the MC for the area, Amo Kamel, who told us that they will be launching that Operation Frontage and that their focus this year will be more on improving sanitation in the municipality. Let's listen to what Amo Kamel, who is the MC for Asqua, has been telling us.
We need to manage our sanitation well so that at least we can score higher mark. For now, Zoomline is no more working in the cleaning of the roads and other things. So it's up to us for us to employ people to make sure our environment are clean. And it's my aim to make sure that Asqua Municipal grow in terms of sanitation so that at least when the scoring comes on board or when there's time to score us, we will always get higher marks in. From next month going, I will launch Operation Clean Your Frontage so that businesses, entities, organizations and churches will clean their frontages so that we can get a cleaner and a neat Asqua Municipal.
Ibrahim, that will be the perspective of the MCE, but how are residents reacting generally?
Well, a lot of residents have welcomed it because they believe that when sanitation is improved, it means that health will also be improved. So at least if everyone is cleaning his frontage, then that will be okay. But then the other concern has to do with those who will be coming there to collect those refuse, because often they clean it, then the refuse will be there for a long time, and that is what they are trying to get assurance from the assemblies, that anytime they clean, then there will be a vehicle to come and clear or collect all the refuse and make sure that the entire place is tidied up.
Ibrahim Abubakar, he's Ashanti Regional Correspondent. Thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon. Now, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Kenneth Ashigbe, is urging stricter enforcement of laws targeting illegal mercury imports and called for tougher penalties against those who assault journalists reporting on illegal mining activities. Addressing a seminar for judges, police, prosecutors and investigators in Takoradi, Mr. Ashigbe emphasized Ghana's long-standing commitment to the Malta Convention, which seeks to safeguard human health and the environment from mercury pollution. Erama Smith has the rest of the story.
Despite Ghana's commitment to the Minamata Convention, which seeks to safeguard human health and the environment from mercury pollution, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Kenneth Ashigbe, noted that mercury continues to enter the country, mainly fueling illegal small-scale mining operations, highlighting the serious health dangers, especially as it accumulates up the food chain. He called on law enforcers, particularly border officials, to intensify efforts to block its entry. He also appealed to the judiciary to treat mercury-related offences with the gravity they deserve.
So it's important that our law enforcement agencies treat it with that seriousness. And also that for our judges, when these cases come before them, they take it very, very seriously. And again, when somebody comes before you with mercury, you should then know that by extension, that person is dealing with a situation of illegal mining. And so not only should you deal with it from that point of view, but also you need to throw Act 703 and Act 995 at the particular person. And so that's a very serious thing to do.
The Chamber of Mines CEO, who was unhappy about how a recent case involving an assault on a journalist covering illegal mining was handled, urged the Attorney General and the Ghana Journalists Association to review the case and, among other things, investigate the roles of the police and the prosecutors involved.
How is it that you get a journalist who is assaulted in covering an illegal mining activity, and then all you just get is that the accused person, who fortunately is arrested, is only charged with assault and then you have a paltry, fine that is given to this person, and this person walks away, when we have the issues of the person having sinned against the Minerals and Mining Act, and the penalties are very clear. So it is important that in this particular case, the Attorney General goes and looks into this case again, looks at the case again, and see what charges was brought against that particular, and make sure that we ensure that the person is charged under Act 995 and the punitive sanction beyond the assault that was done, which is a grave one. You also throw the book at the person.
Meanwhile, a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Tanko Amadou, has emphasized the need for the judiciary to uphold its duties and contribute effectively to environmental protection, warning of severe consequences if action is not taken. Erama Smith.
Let's bring you some more here, and pressure is mounting on the regional and national House of Chiefs to involve Queen Mothers in the decision-making process. All Regions Queen Mothers Association is accusing the House of Chiefs of bias in issues involving queens. Stanley Nibleo has the rest of the story.
Queen Mothers are recognized by the 1992 Constitution of Ghana as traditional authorities, but not formally inducted into the regional or national House of Chiefs as full members. This exclusion stems from a combination of historical factors, including the influence of colonial-era systems that favored male chiefs and prevailing traditional norms that often restrict women's roles in formal political leadership. Following the passage of the Affirmative Action Bill into law last year, the Queen Mothers have been pushing for their official induction into the House of Chiefs as regular members and be allowed to participate in national decision-making processes. The All Regional Queen Mothers Association have kick-started dialogues towards their participation. President of the association, Nana Otubia II, who doubles as the paramount queen of the Nkonya traditional area, expressed discontent about the continuous sidelining of Queen Mothers.
When there is case between a Queen Mother and a chief, and it goes to the regional level, And the regional level, the composition of the judicial committee is made up of only male. There is no female representation to actually also tell from the female perspective of the case. And then so it is really biased. Our institution is biased. I'm saying biased in the sense that even at the traditional council level, we are included in making sure that decision making it includes queen mothers. When it comes for voting to elect regional president and national president, women are not part. Meanwhile, they take part in every decision that involves queen mothers. I find that very, very unfair to women.
Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ritano Dolesoa, assured the group to escalate the dialogue to achieve the desirable results.
Gender, we all know it's male, female. But when we are looking at gender equity, we are looking at the fact that the representation of women is very low. And so it's not just at the political level, it's not just at the institutional level, but we are looking at the traditional level as well. What can we do to ensure that the act is implemented to get everybody on board? And so I believe as we have started this conversation, it will not just be a one-day conversation. And I believe our queen mothers will exercise patience so that it will not be that we are lording over our nananum and nime, but we are asking them to include us.
Former Chief Justice and a Council of State member, Sophia Kufu, was also present at the association's maiden dialogue session. The Queen Mothers Association is also requesting for prompt payment of allowances the government had promised to pay.
Stanley Bleo found that report, and before we go, former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has expressed his condolences to the family and the residents of Nigeria over the death of its former president Muhammadu Buhari. And there's a statement on his Facebook page. He says, "This morning I join many on the continent and across the world to mourn and celebrate the illustrious life of my good friend and former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, who, as I have been solemnly informed, has traveled the way of all flesh yesterday." And then he says, as president, we collaborated in many ways, including successfully hammering out the Accra Initiative, a potent blueprint on strengthening operational collaboration against terrorism, violent extremism, transnational organized crime, and the downward drift of terrorist activities from the Sahel to the coastal state. And there will be more of this on ShriNews.com. Log on to ShriNews.com for more news. My name is Beatrice Adu. Have a good afternoon.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obudu. Coming up, Ghana's gas supply increased by 5 million standard cubic feet per day following upgrade by ENI. Also, Bank of Ghana urged to reduce forex market intervention as it sold $1.4 billion in foreign exchange in the first quarter of 2025. I am Michael Obudu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And Ghana's gas supply has been boosted by an additional 5 million standard cubic feet per day following an upgrade by ENI, operator of offshore Cape 3 Point. The upgrade brings ENI Ghana's daily gas supply to 270 million from 245 million standard cubic feet per day. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
When there is time to score us, we will always get.
According to the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, the additional 5 million standard cubic feet per day gas supply marks a crucial milestone in Ghana's pursuit of a reliable and sustainable energy future. The upgrade is expected to provide vital support to Ghana's power generation efforts, contributing to overall economic growth and industrial development. The ministry has expressed appreciation to ENI and stakeholders in the power sector for their dedicated efforts in executing the project. The ministry has also reiterated government's commitment to delivering consistent and dependable power supply to all Ghanaians. The additional highlighting the importance of strategic per day gas supply marks a crucial milestone in Ghana's pursuit of a reliable and sustainable energy future. According to the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, the additional 5 million standard cubic feet per day gas supply marks a crucial.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has called on the Bank of Ghana to reduce its role in the foreign exchange market and allow for greater exchange rate flexibility. According to a recent IMF report, the central bank sold $1.4 billion in foreign exchange in the first quarter of 2025, exceeding the $1 billion injected in 2023. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
The Bank of Ghana attributes the increased interventions to dollar obligations in the energy sector, including payments to independent power producers and fuel suppliers. Fuel suppliers such as the West African Gas Pipeline Company and importers of refined petroleum. According to the central bank, fuel imports alone average around $400 million per month, resulting in a quarterly demand of approximately $1.2 billion. Despite interventions, Ghana's gross international reserves have risen to $10.6 billion, equivalent to 4.7 months of import cover, driven by higher gold prices, improved remittances, and stronger cocoa earnings. The cedi has emerged as the best performing currency globally in 2025, obligations appreciating to 10.37, including payments to independent power producers and fuel suppliers.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Meanwhile, the IMF has projected that Ghana's gross financing need will remain high despite a major fiscal adjustment planned for 2025. According to its country report, the sustained pressure on the country's public finances is due to significant debt service obligations and the ongoing clearance of arrears, particularly those related to the energy sector legacy debt. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
The IMF in its assessment noted that while the government aims to resume treasury bond issuance, efforts will focus on gradually extending maturities to smooth the country's debt repayment profile. The report added that non-resident participation in the bond market may be permitted, but only if aligned with the government's debt sustainability objectives. Since the 2023 domestic debt restructuring, the government has leaned heavily on treasury bills for local financing. While most T-bills have been issued via public auctions, private placements became more common in 2024, largely targeting non-bank investors such as individuals, insurance firms, and investment funds with limited alternative options. T-bill rates have fallen significantly since March 2025, a trend the IMF attributes to market segmentation and a temporary cedi liquidity surplus influenced by delays in passing and implementing the 2025 budget.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, in a related development, investor appetite fell short once again as government failed to hit its treasury bill targets for the 7th consecutive week, securing $6.12 billion Ghana cedis at 22.82% below its 7.52 billion Ghana cedi target. That's according to auction results from the Bank of Ghana. The bulk of investor interest remained in the 91-day bill, which accounted for 3.71 billion Ghana cedis, or 60.56% of the total bids. The government accepted 3.6 billion Ghana cedis of those bids. The 182-day bill attracted 814.85 million Ghana cedis, with just over 804 million Ghana cedis accepted. In contrast, the 364-day bill instrument saw weaker investor confidence. Despite receiving 1.6 billion Ghana cedis in bids, the government accepted merely 100.99 million Ghana cedis, suggesting either a pricing mismatch or a deliberate tightening by the Treasury. We move on to more stories now, and President John Dramani Mahama has taken a decisive stance against unapproved charges by shipping lines, instructing the Transport Minister and the Attorney General to ensure all such fees are ratified by Parliament. The President's order, which deemed unapproved charges illegal and unwarranted, is a direct response to complaints from Ghana's freight forwarders. The freight forwarders have long argued that these arbitrary fees negatively impact the nation's revenue generation.
You process my container administratively on a piece of paper, and I bring one container, and then he brings 20 containers. The same paper is the same administrative. You don't do it one paper for every container. The paper just says 20 containers. This one says one container. By the time you spend in administering those containers, it's the same. So why charge for each one? And the thing is, when I inquired, they don't do that in Lomé. They don't do that in any other port, only in Ghana. We charged the Minister of Transport to go into it and sit with the shipping lines and look into those administrative charges. We consulted the Attorney General, and you cannot charge any fee or levy within the territories of Ghana without parliamentary approval. And so that must be rectified as soon as possible. And so we charged the Minister of Transport and the Attorney General to make sure that those fees are brought to Parliament for approval.
And that was President John Dramani Mahama speaking there. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana has lauded the government's move to get all port charges approved by Parliament. Samson Asake Awingobet noted that parliamentary approval and streamlining of all port charges will ease the cost of doing business and trickle down to final consumers.
If the government succeeded by getting Parliament to approve these local handling charges, because these are charges that is done in Ghana here, and so government of Ghana through Parliament has a control, should have a control. If government succeeded just getting the shipping lines to go by strictly by the laws, what it means is that this number of charges that being charging people with number of containers on one document will be thing of the past. And so yes, this is going to help give morale, improve business doing, reduce the cost of doing business in the port. Then, of course, like and buy will also extend to the consumer. Because at the end of the day, if you pay all this cost, the business person is not a charitable society. So definitely they will have to pass it on to the final consumer. So this will lead up to a total reduction of cost of price of goods and services in the market.
You heard that Samson Asake Awingobet, he's the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend and Black Rasta is on standby. Do stay tuned.